Nothing. Next question. It's like bad and it's embarrassing and it's like a total like white guy who can't dance thing to do. If you guys want to know like more about my teaching career, I'll just like embarrass myself right now. Just Google teaching channel Jeremy Yager and you'll find like videos of me teaching. I was a very good teacher and I got like spotlighted on that site, but I also was kind of fat back then, so
Welcome everybody. Today we're going to be talking about conflict and specifically how to deal with conflict.
I make a plan. Like, what do I need to say? What conversation can we have? What different things can I do to improve the relationship, and what kinds of things do I want to ask for from the other person? I think, like professionally at least, it's really important to have a plan to make sure that things don't go awry, don't go crazy.
And is that the same, would you say personally, like in your personal life?
No, personally, I tend to be kind of a hot mess emotionally, so I will usually just start crying and say whatever I want to. Yeah.
I feel like also it can be difficult for scholars where the professional and the personal is mixed together. Mm-hmm. Like they don't have work and then a social life, it's like mixed together. Like mm-hmm. School is both professional as well as personal, and so I feel like oftentimes maybe scholars have that personal reaction of wanting to, get their emotions out when in reality they need to step back and think about like, how's this going to affect me down the line? How's this going to affect my relationships professionally, going into high school, going into college and all of that. Yeah. But that's a really good point of just making a plan and then listening to people.
You ever seen this flipping the lid kind of hand model? Is that the part of your brain that is responsible for making good choices literally is no longer in control anymore when you're feeling angry. So being able to take steps to calm yourself down, breathe, and get that part of your brain back in charge is central to being able to deal with anything that might make you angry.
Yeah, and I feel like going off of that, it may not even just be anger, but like you said, anxiety, depression, any type of very strong emotion. I feel like for me, it's been really helpful to find something to cope with it in a positive way that doesn't negatively affect others. For example, writing in a journal or playing a sport like volleyball or boxing or going for a run, just finding a different way to take that energy and then flip it into something positive when it may not be originally.
Yeah. I mean, I have anxiety attacks all the time. I will fairly frequently get super anxious in the mornings before I come into work. Not as much these days, but definitely the first year or two that I was a dean, just because there's so much responsibility and so much that can go wrong. And the thing that is most important to me in managing that is, again, just reminding myself that the anxiety is not me. The anger is not me. The sadness, whatever it is, it's not me. It's a part of my brain that is a reaction to some sort of external problem that is going on. So being able to stop yourself and remind yourself hey, I'm not in danger right now. Everything is okay right now. I'm a perfect and amazing human being. Well, I can say that to myself. I don't know if you guys can say that to yourselves. But my value as a human being is a steady thing, and it doesn't change based on one negative interaction with a person or one problem that I'm facing or anything like that. If I can remind myself of those things, then that out of control fight, flight, or freeze response goes away pretty quickly. And once my actual brain is back in charge, it's pretty easy to work through those problems.
In retrospect, in my life, bullies have always been people who are actually pretty close to me. Friends who
take it too far.
Who take it too far, or just don't know boundaries, or weren't really friends. A lot of emotional aggression, which is something that girls tend to deal with a lot, especially at this age. And so I've kind of found that when there's negative people in my life, I'll just cut them out. It's not that big of a deal. I may have a lot less close friends than I did in the past, but honestly, the friendships that I have fulfill me, and that basically means they make me feel everything I need to feel. They give me all the support I need without any of the negativity, without me having to feel bad about myself.
the analogy I always use, like now here in our school, is that, you know, if you are at home and like a robber breaks into your house, you're not going to try and like solve that crime by yourself. You're going to call the police to help you with it. If you have a problem here at school with a kid, you should not think of it as being your responsibility to solve that problem and hold the other person accountable by yourself. Just like you would like go to the police if you were like the victim of a crime outside of school, you should go to an adult to help you hold the other person accountable and help you solve the problem here in school.
And I feel like what you're touching on is that there's sometimes a tad bit of shame associated when there's bullying. Like you don't want people to think of you as a victim. But that's a great analogy because like how are you going to get help if you're just doing it by yourself?
I got in trouble in school once.
Just once?
What?
Yeah, but it was bad.
Oh no.
It was my freshman year, my 9th grade year in high school, and I graffitied a wall of our school, and I got paddled by our principal.
Paddled?
Yep.
Is this a Catholic school?
Nope.
What does that mean?
So
Paddle? It's like spanking.
yeah, I got spanked. Actually, it might have been with his belt, not with a paddle. I can't remember. I've tried to block it out, but
Oh
yeah,
my God, yeah, that's traumatizing.
yeah, I got spanked by our principal. No.
Yeah. I mean, I punched a kid in the nose. I don't know if you consider it a fight because he didn't fight back, but I definitely socked him in his face.
Any other fights? How about verbally?
Verbal fights. Only online, I have. Yeah.
What kind of arguments are you getting into online?
So, back in the day, there was this website called FormSpring where people would write anonymous questions. This is like before people even knew what the word cyberbullying was. And so, like I got a lot of nice things. People would say really nice things to me, and this was in probably sophomore year of high school. And then there was one person who kept saying really rude, mean, like degrading, just like trying to make me feel bad about myself. And so what they don't understand is I'm a detective, so I figured out who it was. And so I took it from FormSpring onto Facebook, and I wrote a post calling the girl out, saying, you're saying all this stuff about me. And then I said a bunch of rude things about her. And we didn't ever fought physically, but everybody was like talking about that for weeks after my post about her, and people were like, I couldn't believe you were so mean to her and rude to her. But I felt attacked, and I didn't want to be a victim of cyberbullying, so I just called her out.
My friends tell me that there's one thing that I do that they say captures my essence when I'm not here, and that thing is like the second that I just like do like a really awkward like shoulder shimmy, and I'll just be in the middle of a conversation and I'll just like out of nowhere. There was one day that we had, it was like I think a Friday where we got to wear jeans to school, and in the morning in the cafeteria, thankfully no kids spotted this. Like I bent over to pick something up and tore my jeans, and like all down the leg. So I had to, this was last year, I had to go tell Mr. Richards, like, hey, I tore my jeans down the middle and I have to like go home and change. But unfortunately he was in the middle of a meeting with like 5 other people. So I had to like knock on the door and walk in the meeting and just be like, I ripped my jeans, I need to go home.
When I ripped my pants, I thought that I had everybody on my side, but I went and blew it all sky high. And now she won't even spare a passing glance. All just because I
ripped my jeans, I need to go home.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment below what your suggestions are for the next video. And don't forget to live healthy, live happy.